Hello, how are you? Some of you out there know me already. Some of you don't. Uh, my name is Carl, also formerly known as Carlton Campbell. Okay. I go by a Nokia, self-invented, theguyrocks. One big word. Have it in .com. Have it in a name that I use in all the places like Facebook, and if it isn't the Guy Rocks, it's the Guy Rocks one big word. Why do I use that? Probably my own way of identifying myself, the way I think of myself, some of the things that I believe adhere or point out to how I think about life and how I feel about it, and always have that feeling that one ought to keep rocking on. About a month and a half ago, I got hit. Change the subject, by the way. About a month and a half ago, the main subject. I got hit with a thing that threw me in the hospital unexpectedly. The treatments and everything started out with the idea that in 14 days of a very uncomfortable set of treatments involving a lot of blood and IVs and, being on my back and pretty well chained to a bed in a very large public hospital, which is one of the best and considered, I think, the best in Asia and in this part of the world that I live in Thailand. I was going to do 14 days and be on my way home again with a problem that I've had for years right now that would have been cured. Well, the word complication comes into that later. And I had 4 situations happen that endangered my health, but 2 of them very seriously, to where it put me very close to death. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that. I was thinking about if anybody was interested, I could do a little storytelling. But you know how people are. They usually aren't interested, unless it's like an adventure, it's something that comes out of Hollywood, but things like that. There's something I did feel that I ought to say, is that I came very close to death, and I lived with it. And I lived in a ward where there were over 30 to 40 beds. And when they moved me into this ICU ward, OCU or whatever, my wife, Mai, was told that the percentage of the 100% that went in, they usually had a percentage of 80 to 85% that went out feet first into the morgue for proper going on of their journeys. After the Reaper conductor of the train punched their tickets. So when they wheeled me into this ICU or special care unit, they honestly didn't expect me to survive. Probably no more than 72 to 24, 48 hours. So after about 48 hours, they were a little bit shocked. And then complications started in that I mentioned earlier. So just one thing didn't happen. 3 things happened on top of that, kind of in succession. And all this time I was having tubes snaked up into my gentle parts of my body that I usually keep under pants, under wraps. And they were deciding that was kind of fun, so they'd start sneaking things down my nose to feed me through a bottle or a hang-up bag, and also my throat for. Anyway, I had more tubes in me to breathe, hooked me up to an air breather, And this went on for a little while. I realized that I was in my own body and I was trapped in it, and I couldn't even talk. Couldn't really even express, because when they were unclipping the thing in my throat, to get into it through the breather, to use the suction unit to vacuum out parts of my lungs and upper respiratory system, which was an experience you never want to go through. Trust me. You got to remember at the same time, crap's going on, which is a pretty descriptive word, on the other half of your body. And you're realizing that what you thought life was all about could change in just a twinkling of an eye, a moment. It's a wide way. It's a weird way to awaken to realities about life and death. And I don't want to sound melancholy, bad, or defeative, or I don't whatever, but I learned a lot. If you look behind me, you'll see a walker, and you'll see a air breather there, which comes with a little hose that you put air in. They suggested that I have one of those because of the fact that I'm having breathing difficulties, which something that had been with me chronically, but I was unaware of. But the other treatment I had kind of tripped it and got it going. So life can be very interesting. It can be like a domino snowball effect. You may not even be aware of it. I was in there for a month and a half. I did see a lot of people, that were gone the next morning. That I woke up in the middle of the night. They were being wheeled out quietly. They saw their families in mourning. And I saw myself as an individual laying there with the one thing in my life that I held very, very close to me, is I realized how much I did love and really do love my wife, a woman who's been with me now for over a decade. It was, what carried me through was knowing that there really was somebody there who loved me and cared about me enough. They kept asking me, please don't die. I want you to be with me longer. Please don't die. Be with me longer. I'm happy with you. I love you. I don't want you to leave me yet. Let's spend more time together. That probably was one of the most earth-shattering things that has ever happened to me in my life, as I was experiencing love in a way that I'd never experienced it. When the shit hit the fan, there was somebody there to throw me a rope and hang on to me and help me have the energy to pull myself through. Now, we know this can't happen and you can't win all the time and forever. But something that taught me that you never do really want to give up. And in I kept having these dreams, and from medication or whatever. And one of them I had this dream where something was telling me, when the time comes, you'll know it, that it's over. So, why worry about it? And so I wanted to pass that on. We're going to have difficulties. We're going to have hard times. And I never thought what I went through, which some people would just say, you got to be kidding, could actually have happened to me, but it did. Now, I don't know what I've said that might make any sense to some of you. Some of you could say, I don't give a crap. Some of you could say, well, go to hell. And some of you could probably be saying, I wish the hell you had died. I don't hold that against anybody. There are times in my life when I probably deserved that last thought from some people. But people change. And that's another thing I wanted the people to think about that are listening to me for a few seconds left. Life is changing. We change. So while you're still alive and breathing your best, and you're thinking about tomorrow and today and now, think about just making things one time, do something, one thing better, do something right, do something good. And let's see what happens next, because it's all karma. It really is, in my belief. And all of you, I wish the best of luck. And I want to thank those who were there. Now, most of you, I doubt, sat through this long a video. I'll catch you later. Thanks again. Bye.